Hello, audience. Welcome to another episode of Janelle and You. On today's podcast, I will be diving a little down into my individual study. Yes, you heard me right. I said diving because I will be skipping chapters 1 and 2 and diving to chapter 3. But before I begin talking about chapter 3, let me tell you what my individual study is. So, my individual study is a research I conducted at the Ameas Ward Nursery School on a group of children, and today I am talking about some of my findings. Chapter 3 is known as the design of project. And in this chapter, you can find overview of the plan of approach, identification of learners, teachers, and school environment, and description of construction of materials. The overview of the plan of approach, and I quote, teaching kids to count is fine, but teaching them what counts is best. End of quote. Bob Talbot. The overview of the plan of approach entails a summary of everything the researcher did to conduct this research. According to a quote from Benjamin Franklin, and I quote, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. End of quote. This research began with an observational period. Under the guidance of the class teacher, the researcher develops relationship with and evaluates the 15 learners in Year 2 Garnet during the observational period, which lasts 2 weeks. The issue statement was created, the topic selected, the goals established, the teaching tactics and methods chosen, and everything else required to complete the proposal form was taken into account over the course of the observing period. The weeks of planning and preparation came after the observational phase. The weeks of planning and preparation likewise lasted 2 weeks. The researcher's duties throughout the planning and preparation phase included creating lesson plans, authoring resource units, selecting learning appropriate activities, gathering supplies for teaching aids, and creating teaching aids. During this time, research records started to be kept. The planning phase time was slowly running out, and the assessment phase was approaching. The learners and the researcher were prepared or partly prepared for the assessing phase by all the previous phases. The researcher conducted 4 lessons over the course of this phase, which lasted 4 weeks, in an effort to address the issue statement that was noticed and determine how it came to be. Making teaching aids was an additional task during this part of the research. Even though the researcher was entrusted with the practical aspect of the study. The incomplete teaching materials from the planning and preparation phase made that step somewhat difficult, but I managed to get there thanks to a phrase from an unidentified author that reads, and I quote, life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass, it's learning to dance in the rain. End of quote. The next point we will talk about is identification of learners, teachers, and school environment. This research was conducted at the Ameas Ward Nursery School. The Ameas Ward Nursery School was established in 1976 in self-help scheme, prior to the merging of 2 kindergarten schools. The school was relocated in 2005 to the opposite lot of the Ameas Ward Primary School, lot 5456 self-help scheme. Mrs. Marcel Alicock, the school's 8th head teacher, presently oversees operations, and the staff members are listed later on in the video on the personnel chart, and also listed later on you will get the learners of Year 2 Garnet. Here I have a layout of the school. There are 5 Year 1 classrooms and 6 Year 2 classrooms, in a total of 11 classrooms. Then there is the head teacher's office, there's a storeroom, there's a kitchen, and there are 2 washrooms, one to the back of the school and one to the front. And to the back of the school there is a stage. These are the things that make up the Ameas Ward Nursery School environment. Here I have the organizational chart. We have the HM, we have a Year 1 group head, Assam, the Year 2 group head, Assam. We have 7 AMs, 6 TQMs, 1 TUM, and an AT. The Amias Ward Nursery consists of 17 teachers working along with the HM. Here I have a list of the children of the class that the research was conducted in. Okay, this is the boys' class list. First we have K. Agard, S. Albert, J. Benjamin, S. Singh, S. Subner, M. Thomas, C. Wilford. And for the girls we have O. Cole, L. Frank, K. Green, J. James, M. Lerma, R. McIntosh, R. Moore, and R. Jones. And the final point for this chapter is description of the construction of materials used in this research. Quote by Colin Plowell state, and I quote, "There are no secrets to success. It is a result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure." End of quote. In completing this research, the researcher used materials to construct aids, songs, work activities, and models, which was sometimes challenging and time-consuming, but hard work comes with success. Materials were bought and some materials were accumulated from the environment. Materials that were bought are as follows: cardboard, markers, ruler, pencil, foam, cloth, socks, plastic, glue sticks, glue gun, silicone, plywood, paint, screws, inches, plastic bottle, bond paper, and artificial fruits and vegetables. Now I will tell you about the materials that was constructed. A theater was the first thing to be built. The materials the researcher used to build the theater were 2 cardboard boxes, wallpaper, fruits, paint, cloth, glue sticks, glue gun, foam, and bond paper. The researcher took 5 hours to get there. 1 box was used to make a model of the market. When the market was framed out, the box was then covered with wallpaper outside and certain parts inside. The remaining part inside that was not covered with wallpaper was painted. Then the stalls were inserted and the artificial fruits were placed in the stalls. The other box was used to build the stage for the theater. After being cut out in the shape of a stage, the box was covered with bond paper. Foam was then used to create a facing along the box edge once it had been covered. The curtain was the last finishing touch before the stage was declared finished. Fabric and foam were used to create the curtain. The puppet was still absent, but the theater was now complete. Let's assemble the puppet. The puppet was made with a plastic bottle, a sock, a straw, a foam ball, eyes, ear, cloth, and foam. The puppet's body was constructed from a plastic bottle. A hole was drilled in the bottle's top and bottom, and a straw was inserted. The foam ball was then adhered to the straw's top using glue. On the foam ball were the mouth, ear, and the eyes. The puppet's finishing touch was an apron. The puppet took 2.5 hours to make. A market stand was also created. Plywood, screws, inches, paint, and PVC ceiling were the materials needed to build the market stand. Because it took 14 hours to build the market stand, it was very exhausting. Plywood was used to frame the stall and to create the side walls as well. Screws were used to secure the plywood, and the inches were used to attach the doors. The PVC ceiling was used to create the V-shaped roof. After the stall was put together, pink paint was applied to give it color. A cinematograph was yet another type of material constructed. A cardboard box, transparent plastic, images, mop sticks, corks, foam, and cardboard were used to create the cinematograph. The box had a television-like shape and was then coated with foam and cardboard. 2 holes were drilled on the left and 2 were drilled on the right side, top and bottom side of the box. 5 photographs were pasted together vertically to form a sheet, and then 1 mop stick was adhered to the top and another mop stick to the bottom. The pictures were then rolled in on the top stick. The mop stick was inserted in the holes on both sides of the box. One stick at the top and the other at the bottom. Bottle corks were the final touches to the cinematograph, which were used to make the buttons on the television. The cinematograph took the researcher 5 hours to create. A model of a scale was constructed. The scale was created using cardboard boxes, aluminum foil, silicone screws, wood, glue, and a glue gun. The cardboard box was used to frame the scale, and the colored cardboard was used to cover the cardboard box, while the aluminum foil was used to cover the plates or the bowls. Wood was used to make the waves. The researcher watched a YouTube video about how to make a scale and was able to follow the steps to make the scale. The scale was created within 4 hours, but it didn't function the way it should. A model of a calculator was made of a certain material. The calculator's components included cardboard, tape, and paper. To frame out the calculator, cardboard was employed. In order to cover the cardboard, paper and tape were used. The calculator took 2 hours to complete. Another thing made was a model of knife. Cardboard, aluminum foil, and tape were the materials utilized to construct the knife. Aluminum foil was used to make the knife's blade. Tape was utilized to make the knife handle, and the cardboard was used to form the knife. The researchers spent 1.5 hours making the knife. A game was made. The game was made of cardboard and pictures. The cardboard was used to make the board for the game and back the pictures for the card. The game took within 1 hour to create. The final material is a song, and it was constructed digitally. The researcher found the song on YouTube. The song was edited using the Capwing app on the researcher's laptop. It took the researcher 2 hours to edit and import the song. This has brought us to the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have learned something from this video.